Each and every Monday is $9 Monday at WagerTalk.com. All daily picks packages are priced at only $9, including $40 5% best bets. As an added bonus, all new users will receive $25 in wager bucks credited to their accounts, available for immediate use after their initial $9 Monday purchase. So make sure to take advantage of $9 Mondays at WagerTalk.com.
Welcome into First Pitch for Monday, September 13th. We got 4 games on the card. Best bets at the end. Bryan, Leonard, Tony Finn alongside. Guys, it's $9 Monday at Wager Talk, so check out the plays. Discounted, all the plays, to just $9. Bryan Leonard, first one up here. Hopefully you had a good weekend, Bryan. Happy Monday morning to you. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, it's great to be back on the show. 5% plays continue to roll. Got a 5% play up in college football for this week. 26, 11, and 1 on my 5% plays. And it's available till midnight tonight for only $9. A nice savings of $26. I do have a play in baseball today for a $9 Monday, but if you stick around, you'll get my best bet for free as I do my best bet on the show today. So looking forward to hear from both of you gentlemen today. And it's a small card, but hopefully we can make some money off of it.
Hey, quality over quantity. That's Bryan Leonard there. Small card, so some quality on it. Guys, you heard the 5% record there. $9 Monday as well. Take advantage of it. Bryan Leonard is his experts page on WagerTalk.com. Tony Finn as well. It's Monday. Happy Monday morning to you, Tony.
It's Friday. Every day is Friday in my life. Just this show, hell, it makes it Friday night. This show does. Good to be here. Split this weekend 2-2 in football. At least in NFL yesterday, and dropped my 5%er. Still optimistic about this football season. Like it. Got 2 baseball plays up today. One early pitch, one late pitch. Both are in the Big Apple, right across the East River from each other. Early at New Yankee, the late game at Old Shea. And I do have a Monday Night Football ticket ready to rock and roll right here, direct from Las Vegas, which Bryan and I, and you are, good sir, direct from Las Vegas. The breakdown of the first ever Monday Night Football at the LA Giant Stadium. Let's get it.
Let's get it. Tony Finn, from the comedy club in South Vegas there, it looks like. We're interested in your opinion, stealing a line there from Bryan Leonard. We got Miami and Washington. First game up, guys, in the NL East. We get Sandy Alcantara. Espino going for the Nats. 7.5 being the total in our nation's capital here, Bryan. We get minus 110. We're seeing as high as minus 115, as low as minus 105 right now on the fish. And of course, Alcantara, 14 strikeouts, 1 walk. It's like clockwork in the MLB markets. His last time out, I'm speaking of, Bryan. And sure enough, almost every time, a pitcher goes like that, 14 Ks, 1 walk, he's going to take money his next time. We're seeing that here with the fish. You liking anything fish and Nats in the NL East, Bryan?
I do. I'd like to talk about this game in a second, but I have to mention Tony Finn with the sun beating down on him in his house. It proves a theory I've always had, that Tony's not always bright.
Oh.
Anyway, let's get back to this game right here after I pick on Tony for a while. I like the Miami side here. Alcantara's just been terrific as of late. You go back his last 7 starts. He had that terrible start in Colorado where he had a 75 pitch, goes 3 2/3 innings, gives up 10 earned runs. His game score is 0. But since that point, 74 against the Padres, 74 against Atlanta, 70 against Cincinnati, 72 against Cincinnati again, 47 against the Mets, and 88 against the Mets. Those are some pretty good hitting teams, and he's been having a lot of success. Now he's going against a Washington team who has really struggled as of late. You go back, obviously, the last 30 days, 9-21, 4-6 the last 10. Washington's not playing very good ball right now. Espino got a nice start when they brought him up to pitch for Washington, but he's really struggled as of late. He's had a couple of good starts, but most of all, his last 7 starts, a 44 average game score, 6.98 ERA. We take a look at Miami. Now, granted, they haven't played well on the road this year, But I think they have a really nice advantage in this game. And they've won 3 out of the last 5 games against the Mets and Atlanta. Or you take a Washington team who's just played Pittsburgh and lost 2 out of 3. I think there's value here on Miami. I kind of like them today, and the line's pretty cheap. I'll play Miami.
All right, looking towards the fish here in the battle for the basement of the NL East there, Tony, but they all pay the same. You interested in getting involved here, fish and Nats tonight?
I'm not involved in this game, but I liked this game. Let's just put it this way. And just to break down quickly the variables that I liked, Espinosa really has pitched better than his numbers, surface numbers would suggest. If you look at his last 4 starts, he has an ERA north of 5. The whip in that same period, 1.17. 25 strikeouts against just 4 walks in 19 2/3. So if there's ever a good example, and I try as much as I can on videos and in my articles to ignore ERA. ERA wins and losses are meaningless. They're absolutely meaningless in the big picture, in truth, without question. I like this game, and I really like the fact that I suppose he gets to face, a Marlins team that has the worst WOBA and the second highest strikeout rate facing righties in the last 30 days, under the total today. And if you're going to lean to a side, take the dog. Let's go against Sandy here and take the kid, Espinosa.
All right, a little bit better matchup heading to the east side in the American League here, Tony. We get the Tampa Bay Rays and Toronto Blue Jays north of the border. Of course, the Blue Jays playing back in Toronto for quite a bit now. Total of 9 minus $1.25 here. That's Alex Manoah and the Blue Jays at home, Tony.
Interesting matchup, to say the least. If you look at the surface numbers, again, here we go. You look at the surface numbers of McHugh. You're going to find a whip less than 1. I think it's 0.93. Am I correct? Correct me if I'm wrong. You'll find that he's going to be the first in a line of 3 or 4 relievers tonight. I'm not sure who's going to piggyback off McHugh, but his numbers, career numbers against the Toronto lineup are not very good. They're hitting over 300. They have a slugging of around 500, and the OPS is closer to 1,000. However, this year, the last 2 times he's been in a game against this against this Toronto lineup, he's been really good. In fact, he went 3 innings one time, no hits, no runs, 6 strikeouts. That was 2 starts ago. His last time, 1 hit in 2 innings, no runs, and no walks. So his career numbers wouldn't say that. And Manoah, I like Manoah. I really do. I said this the last time we had the show, but he is who he is. He's a young kid who's still facing a team that is a smart hitting team. This is a good hitting team. They've improved so much from the early goings this year when they couldn't hit a beach ball against left-handed pitching. Now Manoah's not left-handed. However, it's always tough when you get a kid this young that's hitting career numbers and innings pitched, at least at this level. And I stayed away from this game simply for that fact, but I probably would be on the visiting Tampa Bay Rays tonight against an inconsistent lineup of Toronto. When they're good, they're good. When they're bad, and against the young Manoah. So while I'm not on it, I'm going to lean the Rays, McHugh.
The Rays plus price, that good bullpen. And yeah, to your point, Tony, it looks like McHugh 0.92 whip is what I'm seeing at Fangraphs right now. So, you're right there on that. And Bryan, coming to you, AL East, both good teams, playoff aspirations here. Are you interested in getting involved north of the border?
I'm going to look at something a little bit off the radar here. I'm a big believer in Colin McHugh. He's been terrific all season long. Probably going to go 2-3 innings here, but Tony mentioned it'll be a bullpen game, but Tampa Bay's got great pitchers in the bullpen, and they got another one back just a couple of days ago. So this is a team that I think is prized right now to where they're going to finish the regular season. Again, a lot of those guys back that were on the DL earlier this season, or the IL, which they call it this year. Toronto's playing really good ball, but they're just coming back first game off of the road trip to New York and Baltimore. Playing great ball right now. I found first inning no score at -109 at Chris. I think that's a pretty good bet here. Manoah's been really good. He's faced Tampa Bay twice this year. A 1.69 ERA. His average game score is 66, so he's played very well against Tampa. And McHugh is having just a terrific year. And I think first game of the series back home here, I think it takes a couple innings for these bats to start heating up. I'm going to play the first inning, no score, at -109.
I like it. Prop bets always accepted here, Bryan. Not so much for best bets, but throughout in the analysis, it's always good stuff. And I said, playoff aspirations here. I mean, with Toronto winning 3 straight, 9-1 their last 10, not only aspirations, they're finding themselves in that wild card slot. And of course, Tampa Bay, one of, if not the best record in baseball. We got a third game up here, Bryan, heading out west now for the last 2. Yu Darvish and the Padres against Leon and the Giants. We are now seeing what the Giants minus actually near a pick'em price, actually, Bryan. Total of 8 in San Francisco. You liking anything here, Pods and Giants tonight?
Yeah, it looks like the Giants are going to go the bullpen route. And like Tampa Bay, their bullpen's been very good all season long. Yu Darvish, obviously the big name out there, and he's pitched pretty well on the season, 3.95 ERA. Not quite as well lately. His last 7 starts, a 48-game score, 6.62 ERA. But you take a look at what Darvish has done on the road his last 3 starts. He went to Miami, not a very good hitting team, a 46-game score. He goes to Arizona, not a very good hitting team, 29-game score. Once again, he goes back to Arizona. You figure after struggling in Arizona, his next start, he'd have a really good start. He didn't have it, 22-game score. So he's not performed well on the road right now. And you're taking a Padres team who were just swept against the Dodgers. And that is 2 of the 3 games they were outscored 11-0. The other game they outscored 5-4. That was a heartbreaking series for the Padres against the Dodgers. Now they're way back in the wild card race. They still have a chance, but they're not playing well right now. I think there's some value here on San Francisco, a team that has continued to fight off the pressure. They play that big Dodger series, and then they go to Colorado, sweep, go to Chicago, sweep. Sure, 2 of the lesser teams in the league, but Colorado at home is a different ball club than they are on the road. And San Francisco went in there, win 10-5, 12-3, 7-4, easy wins. And then they beat Chicago 15-4 and 6-5. To get San Francisco in this price range right here, I think has some value. I like San Francisco in this game.
Sure. And even talking about a bullpen game here, Tony, like Bryan talked about, San Francisco, Tampa Bay, when they got bullpen games, it's not like you're looking to fade them. If you have, you've probably been losing some money. And also to Bryan's point here, San Diego, that tough series, they're now 16 games behind the LA Dodgers in second place in the NL West. So there's a huge split there, and they're tied with Cincinnati for that wild card slot. So some important baseball, but off that tough series, what are you thinking tonight, Padres and Giants?
Well, I like what I saw from Darvish his last start. 6 innings, 1 run against the Angels. That 1 run came on only 3 hits, 1 walk against 7 strikeouts. This came after what Bryan broke down, the 22 game, a really bad run. It was such a bad run. It was 11.12 ERA over just the 3 starts prior to his last one. And the last game ended 7 consecutive losses for Darvish. Who hadn't earned a win since June 21st. A lot of why Darvish, not only is Darvish bad, but not only did he hit that tired arm segment of the season, he seems to always hit at some point in time because of how he pitches, passionate and seemingly all out all the time, 11 different types of pitches, 11 different speeds. Long story short, the Padres over the last 30 days, there's only 2 teams that have scored more runs and have a better OPS than San Diego. And who is that? That's worse, I should say. And that is the Pirates and the Twins over the last 30 days. Scored less runs and have a lower OPS. And that speaks to a lot of injuries, a lot of hanging heads. This Padres team has taken a nosedive, unfortunately. And they, while they still, tell me, I haven't checked this morning, do they still hold the second spot in the wild card? Do they still own that second spot right now?
Yeah, I believe so. They're tied with Cincinnati for both of them are 1 and 2 in the wild card. They're both going to play each other. I guess it would depend on their records against each other to who would be the home team, I believe, Tony. But to answer your question, yes, they are tied.
It's pretty simple. It's not like we're on. We'll be critiqued because I happen to. We'll look it up real quick right now, just so. But I guess my point is, it really doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter because right now they're tied, like you just said, with Cincinnati. Okay. How do you listen? I'm not a big fan. I don't believe Cincinnati can hold up under in a one game playoff. Who are you going to throw? Who are you going to put on the mound if you're the Cincinnati Reds manager? Is it Gray? Who is it? Castillo, who is about as consistent as the Oklahoma weather. Who do you put out there in one game? You know what I mean? Here's my point, and that is,
well, it's all hands on deck in a situation like that. It's all hands on deck. You go with
the Dodgers. I'm feeling. Listen, every pitcher. I don't care who you are. Cy Young. I don't care. Don Drysdale. Tom Seaver. God. The next best thing is sliced bread. Any pitcher. I trust. I trust the Dodgers in a one-game series only for one reason only, and that's Mad Max. You put Mad Max out there in a one-game playoff situation, I'm going to trust them. I don't trust Cincinnati. Don't trust the Padres. Don't know the matchups. Certainly don't trust the Cardinals. And believe it or not, the Phillies only 2.5 out in that wild card. The Mets only 3 out. Now they got to go through a lot of teams, but that's all they're out. And we still got, what do we still have here, guys? We still got 20 games left, right? So I'll say this: Padres could hold on to this spot. And if they do, it probably favors me because I'll be fading them. It's only a one-game deal. And if they happen to win that one game, I would fade them in the next series. I don't see a lot of spark. I don't see a lot of energy. And I'm with Bryan. I'm going to lean towards San Francisco. Surprisingly, they haven't faced Leon this year, believe it or not. And many appearances he's had, he has not seen this Padres lineup. Advantage to him. First couple innings he pitches and to the Giants. So let's go San Francisco over San Diego today, and probably against San Diego the rest of the season.
Interesting. And yeah, with the Reds and the Padres tied for that final wild card slot, Bryan, I don't know, do they have a one-game playoff too to then get to the one-game playoff? Do you guys know? I don't think
yes, if they're tied. Yes, I don't.
Yeah,
is that how it works?
I'd have to ask Bryan. Yeah, I think so though. Yeah, be like a Monday.
Well, that would be fun.
A Monday. Yeah. Oh, thrilling.
That would be really fun. So back-to-back one day.
I'm going to pass Monday Night Football. I'm going to pass. I'm not going to watch Monday Night Football that night. I'm going to be all hands on deck, as you said, in that Cincinnati and San Diego game. 5%.
Awesome. Good stuff, guys, in the discussion. We got Daniel in the chat box saying Dodgers have lost every game following a Padres series that's 0-4 and haven't put up more than 3 runs. Guys, it's not one of the games we're breaking down, but before we get to the nightcap, we get Arizona and the LA Dodgers. Dodgers played minus 280. Is that enough of a stat, Bryan? Coming to you first, just real quick here. Is that enough for you to maybe take a shot here with the Diamondbacks at over a plus 200 price tag?
Well, if I'm going to take a look at the Diamondbacks, it's going to be because we got Gallen on the mound against Kershaw making his first start after being on the DL for a long time. Do I think if I played this game, I'm definitely on the Arizona side, but it has nothing to do with the stat. It has more to do with playing the big rival. And now they're depending on a guy who hasn't pitched in the majors in a while. So, yeah, Arizona would be the only way I go in that game. But you're still looking at a small sample size, even though it makes sense. It's still only 4 games, but I understand it. And, Marco D'Angelo is a big proponent of those kind of things. And I agree. Arizona would be the only way I go in that one. But I've got better games that I like on this card.
Okay, maybe the last one. And Tony, just anything real quick here on the Dodgers dropping 4 straight after the series with the Padres and a plus 200 price tag on the Diamondbacks. And to Bryan's point, Kershaw coming off the IL.
I wanted to. I was just trying to look it up real quickly, but I went to the wrong my wrong page, my wrong charts. I was curious after Bryan mentioned, I wonder what Kershaw is on more than 5 days rest in his career. Not that it's the same kind of more than 5 days, where you may have pitched may have had 2 extra days. But I'm curious about that. I will, during the show, next time Bryan's talking, I'll look that up, and if it's worth mentioning, I will. But I don't have much. That's a stat that just came from the chat bot. That's well done. It's something to look at. I don't know how much you're going to weigh it into Gallen, who is not been real good since returning from the IL. He's had his 15-minute moments, but trusting Arizona against Kershaw is difficult for me. I'm not going to lay 280 on him coming back unless you tell me right now. Unless Bryan tells me, listen, Kershaw, he's 25-0 on more than 5 days rest, and in those situations, he's beat the Arizona Diamondbacks 26 times. Okay, I'm on Kershaw.
Yeah, I like it, Daniel. In the chat box. Thanks for chiming in here with those good stats, and also can't get it right in here saying he has some Arizona first 5 money line plus 195. So some big underdogs, possibly barking on the late night slate. We got the last game here. I'm kind of leaning towards the underdog here, Tony. We get Boston out west in Seattle, Rodriguez versus Gilbert, total of 8. And we're seeing Boston now minus 120-ish favorites. So it's been some Mariners money. I kind of agree with it. What are you feeling in the Pacific Northwest tonight, Tony?
I'd say I don't trust Boston pitching staff. And I would typically, in this situation, would be fading them. Gilbert has grown quite a bit since he made his debut early in the season for this team. I think he's probably worthy of the prospect hype that he received. I remember fading him the first time he was on the mound, and he just got he got clubbed, and that's what happens a lot of times when you're facing a good lineup, and you got butterflies on your first time on the mound, on a big boy mound, not on the farm. In this situation, this Seattle lineup has actually struggled to some degree. And not even to some degree, to more of a degree than most have against Rodriguez, against ER. And I think the price is not just fair. I think it's a steal to be taking Boston against a Seattle team that, guys, is still in the wild card race with a negative run differential. This team has absolutely been, as far as an offensive line, been more fortunate than any team in the American League. What I mean by that is batted ball luck, situations, winning 1-run games, everything that goes in line with having a season that books are written about and movies are made about. Now I'm embellishing, but look, this Seattle team was never expected to be where they are right now, and the fact that they're here with a negative run differential, I think speaks to how they got here. And if they can keep rolling 7s on the first roll of the crap table, then I'm wrong. But I think they're a fade from here point forward. So that's me.
And Bryan, what are you thinking out west? I think Gilbert's a pretty good pitcher here. And they do have a negative run differential like Tony's talking about, but that bullpen's pretty good. Plus price. Are you like Tony, wanting to lay it here with the road favorite with the Red Sox? Or are you like me, wanting to go with the home underdog late night?
Yeah, I wish I could be the deciding vote here, but this is the one game I really don't have much of an opinion on. I do know that the Red Sox have lost 5 of the last 7 games. The only 2 wins were by 1 run and an extra innings. So they're not really playing that well. I think Gilbert's a pretty good pitcher, but I just don't see much advantage here either way. I do want to point out, we just talked about that Dodgers-Arizona game tonight. The Dodgers are 19-4 the last 2 years against Arizona. That dampens a little bit of any enthusiasm on Arizona. But still, I think that's the only side you could look here. This is the one game on the schedule I don't really have much of an opinion on, so I'm just not going to talk any longer about it.
Fair enough, Bryan. Quick to the point. That's how we like to do it here on First Pitch, and it's time for Best Bets. So, Bryan, we can come back to you. Guys, check out Bryan Leonard, his experts page, Bryan Leonard at WagerTalk.com. $9 Monday is 5%. Hot money right now. I believe you got one up as well, Bryan. So anything on that? And where are you going for best bets tonight?
Yeah, we got a 5% up in college football for Saturday, 26-11-1 on the 5% plays. Do have one play up in baseball. Don't buy it. This is it right here for tuning in for the show. I use St. Louis. I thought the line was a little bit cheap tonight on St. Louis is my best bet. Laying 105, 107 in that regard. Well, Adam Wainwright has just been fantastic Last 7 starts, 68 average game score, 1.57 ERA. Rich Hill's actually, when he's gone to the National League, he struggled his first few starts, but the last 3 starts, 57, 68, 66, he's pitched very well. But those games are against Washington twice and Miami. St. Louis not going to cover the ball off either, so I expect another low-scoring game, but I much prefer St. Louis here. The Mets, if you watched that game last night, they were on Sunday Night Football against the Yankees, one of the most exciting games of the season. Not only was the game exciting, the whole atmosphere was exciting. The fans, half the fans, Mets fans, half the fans, Yankees fans. It was a lot of fun to watch. There wasn't a lot of animosity that you normally find in that regard, which is what I like to see. I don't want to see fans fighting and the whole thing. I want to see the both sides going at it. It was a lot of fun last night. Now the Mets, after winning that game 7-6, taking 2 out of 3 against the Yankees, now they got to come back again tonight and face the St. Louis team, who's right in the prime with the Mets on making this playoff run. I like St. Louis. They got the better pitcher on the mound, and I think the number's cheap.
I like it, Brian. Guys, for my best bet, I'm going to the Marlins and the Nationals. One of the best pitchers in baseball, Sandy Alcantara on the hill. 14 Ks, 1 walk his last time out. I think he's going to continue some of that dominance here against the Nationals lineup. Plus the fact Washington, bottom of the NL East now. This is a battle for bottom of the NL East, but Washington's there right now. I think they stay there. They're 9-21. To Brian's point earlier in the show, their last 30 games playing bad baseball and going up against Alcantara. That's not a good recipe for the Nationals to have success. So -110 on the Marlins. Think we're buying low on the fish. That's my best bet for the night. Throw it over to Tony Finn. Tony, finish us off for best bets, buddy.
Let's go to Houston at Texas, or Texas at Texas. Houston at Dallas. So is that correct? Is that better? The Astros facing the Rangers. Spencer Howard was limited. He was under the COVID-19. He was on the COVID-19 IL. Okay, under the precautions that the league has, and I think they're good precautions. So they limited him to 2 innings. I think his last time out, and was pretty good. He was limited to 2 innings, or 2 inning performance he had before that. He wasn't so good. In fact, the truth is that Howard, since being traded from Philly down to Arlington, has not been an elite. He's never going to be an elite strikeout pitcher, but his lack of control has been horribly concerning. And when you only have a 25% strikeout rate and you got a Sierra that's nearing 5, while your ERA is higher than the 6.5 or whatever it is, and the 1.54 WHIP, what you will hear is, hey, the kid has a 4.67 Sierra. So he's going to, there's some positive regression that's due. Well, when your Sierra is 4.67, guys, and you're facing Houston, that may be a positive regression for what he's done. It's not good enough. And what he faces tonight is a guy who, raised a fuss. What they did with Odorizzi was they said, listen, we're going to limit you to 5 innings. You're going to be a 5-inning pitcher from this point forward. And he threw a fit, guys. He threw a fit. I'm a starting pitcher. I want that chance, yada, yada. But if you look at his underlying peripherals and what he does and what he's done in 5 innings, it makes absolutely perfect sense. And if you look at his numbers for 5 innings, and I'm going on and on about this, but he's got a 3.83 ERA in those 87 innings where he's thrown 5 frames. And it's just so much better. It works better. The Houston's improved their bullpen. I really, really like Houston tonight. Odorizzi over the young Howard. And I think you can play this I think you can play Houston 5 innings, then you play the run line for a game, and you can pick up a little extra chump change for college football next weekend, whatever you want to do. Give me Houston. Give me the run line. Full game, -1.5, -125 on Odorizzi.
All right, guys, that does it for best bets. The recap for best bets: we got Marlins -110, Bryan Leonard. Cardinals -107, Tony Finn. Astros minus the run line, $1.25 for that. We got Bryan Leonard, Tony Finn. I am Drew Martin. Guys, thanks for tuning in. We'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place. Come back and join us. Please smash that like button on your way out. Feel free to comment below too if you're watching on replay. So guys, best of luck with your bets. Thanks for tuning in.
Each and every Monday is $9 Monday at WagerTalk.com. All daily picks packages are priced at only $9, including $40 5% best bets. As an added bonus, all new users will receive $25 in WagerBucks credited to their accounts, available for immediate use after their initial $9 Monday purchase. So make sure to take advantage of $9 Mondays at WagerTalk.com.